There is a particular kind of confidence that borders on delusion. It grows slowly. It feeds on positive results. It wraps itself around a team's identity until nobody questions it anymore. Arsenal walked into Stamford Bridge carrying this confidence like armor. They believed their system was invincible. They believed their methods were beyond reproach. They believed Viktor Gyökeres simply needed time to understand the machine. This match did not validate any of those beliefs. It exposed them. 24 set-piece goals in all competitions before tonight, 18 from corners alone, numbers that have become Arsenal's calling card under Mikel Arteta and set-piece specialist Nicolas Jover, numbers that pundits recite with reverence, numbers that opposing managers study with dread. But numbers can become a cage. When a team scores 69% of its goals from dead ball situations, what does that say about everything else? What does it say about their ability to break down defenses in open play? What does it say about their creative penetration through the thirds? Chelsea arrived at this semi-final in disarray. A new manager appointed 8 days ago. Their previous manager's shadow still visible in the tactics. 7 red cards accumulated this season. A goalkeeper whose error count has become a running joke across European football. Everything pointed toward Arsenal control. Everything pointed toward a comfortable away victory for the Premier League leaders. Yet comfort never arrived. The first 45 minutes told a story nobody wanted to acknowledge. Arsenal scored from a corner. Again, Ben White rose highest to meet Declan Rice's delivery, the 24th set-piece goal of the campaign. Stamford Bridge fell silent. The traveling supporters erupted. But somewhere in that celebration lay an uncomfortable question. Why was a corner the pathway? Why, against a team missing suspended and injured players, was a dead ball situation required to unlock the opposition? Chelsea under interim management had shown vulnerability. Chelsea under Liam Rosenior remained a mystery. The Blues fielded a back line that had never started together in competitive football. Wesley Fofana partnered Trevoh Chalobah in the center. Josh Akpom earned just his 3rd senior start. Mark Cucurella was serving a suspension. Malo Gusto, Reece James, Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill, all absent. The weakest Chelsea defensive configuration in 2 years stood before Arsenal. Yet Arsenal's open play threat registered as negligible throughout the opening period. Estevão caused problems in the channels. The Brazilian teenager demonstrated precisely what Arsenal's wide forwards could not. Direct running, willingness to commit defenders, an unpredictability that made Chelsea dangerous despite their structural weaknesses. Arsenal played with controlled possession. They moved the ball with familiar patterns. They rarely surprised anyone. Viktor Gyökeres entered this match carrying the weight of a 10-game open play drought. 7 goals in 24 appearances since his summer arrival from Sporting. A record that represents catastrophic underperformance for a striker who scored 97 times in 102 matches in Portugal. Arsenal supporters have blamed service. Arteta has blamed positioning. Teammates have blamed adaptation time. But the truth sits deeper. Gyökeres has found himself inside a system that does not complement his instincts. A system that prizes patient buildup over vertical penetration. A system where the 6-yard box becomes a destination rather than a starting point. His goal tonight arrived through goalkeeper error. Robert Sanchez failed to collect a cross from White. The ball spilled directly into the Swedish striker's path. Gyökeres bundled home from 2 yards, his first open play goal since November. A goal that required no movement, no positional intelligence, no finishing technique, simply presence. Simply being there when an opponent's mistake materialized. Arsenal celebrated wildly. But what exactly were they celebrating? Competent goalkeeping would have rendered Gyökeres anonymous. Again, Sanchez has now made multiple errors leading to goals this season. His catalog of disasters has become legendary in all the wrong ways. Yet his errors against Arsenal revealed something crucial about the visitors. They needed his failures. Without them, Arsenal's open play threat remained minimal against the weakest Chelsea backline in memory. This is not a criticism designed to diminish Arsenal's quality. It is an observation designed to illuminate their limitations. Alejandro Garnacho entered as a substitute in the 53rd minute. Within 4 minutes, he had scored. Within 30 minutes, he had scored again. 2 goals from a player whom Enzo Maresca had marginalized. 2 goals from a player whom the Chelsea crowd had grown to doubt. 2 goals that asked uncomfortable questions about Arsenal's defensive intensity when confronted with directness. The Argentine did not overthink. He did not wait for patterns to develop. He received the ball, he shot, he trusted his ability. Chelsea found a gear that Arsenal's system cannot replicate. Rosenior made his substitution decision at the perfect moment. 2 goals down, momentum slipping away, the occasion threatening to overwhelm his new squad. He turned to Garnacho, and the decision transformed the contest. This was not tactical genius. This was common sense. Arsenal were sitting deeper. Arsenal were protecting their lead. Arsenal were inviting pressure by surrendering the initiative. Garnacho exploited precisely this caution. Martin Zubimendi's goal to restore the 2-goal advantage came through individual brilliance. A dummy that fooled Fofana, a left-footed finish that demanded appreciation. But notice the context. Zubimendi, a midfielder, scoring through personal quality in open play. Not a corner, not a free kick, not a set-piece combination. Personal quality. Arsenal possess this quality. They simply do not employ it enough. Arsenal's defensive fragility in the closing stages exposed another illusion. This team concedes goals in clusters. When momentum shifts against them, they struggle to restore control. 2 goals from Garnacho, both from wide deliveries, both requiring the same defensive solutions that Arsenal impose on opponents at corners. The irony writes itself. Arsenal's set-piece expertise has not translated into set-piece defensive resilience. They remain vulnerable to precisely the chaos they weaponize. Arteta has now won his first semi-final game as Arsenal manager since that FA Cup triumph over Manchester City in July 2020. 4 consecutive 2-legged semi-final eliminations preceded tonight. The 2021 Europa League semi-final against Villarreal, the 2022 Carabao Cup semi-final against Liverpool, the 2025 Carabao Cup semi-final against Newcastle, the 2025 Champions League semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain. Each elimination carried different explanations: injuries, fatigue, quality of opposition, bad luck. But a pattern this consistent demands deeper examination. Semifinals require a specific mentality. They demand the ability to manage tension across extended periods. They punish teams who rely on systems rather than moments. Arsenal's system is extraordinary, but systems do not produce magic. Systems do not inspire comeback goals. Systems do not terrify opponents in decisive moments. Individuals do. And Arsenal's individuals remain constrained by their structure. The 3-2 aggregate advantage heading to the Emirates is significant. But the manner of tonight's victory should concern anyone analyzing Arsenal's genuine trophy potential. They scored from a corner, from a goalkeeper error, and from individual Zubimendi brilliance. None of their goals came through the fluid attacking patterns that define their league dominance. None came through the movements that supposedly make Gyökeres unplayable. None came through the system. Chelsea will arrive at the Emirates in 3 weeks, believing completely in their chances. They scored twice through Garnacho. They created additional opportunities that deserved better finishing. They demonstrated the directness that troubles Arsenal when their press is bypassed. They demonstrated the chaos that Arsenal's control cannot always absorb. A 1-goal deficit feels recoverable. It should feel insurmountable against the Premier League leaders. It does not. Rosenier's tactical adjustments in the second half merit recognition. He identified that Arsenal were sitting deeper. He understood that Chelsea needed width to stretch the defense. He trusted attacking players to make individual decisions. Garnacho repaid that trust emphatically, but the broader point remains. Chelsea's attacking approach, direct and instinctive, caused problems that Arsenal's possession-based attacking approach could not consistently create against a weakened backline. Arsenal's dependency on set pieces has become structural. It is no longer a weapon. It is a crutch. Teams require multiple pathways to victory. Teams require the ability to hurt opponents in various ways. Teams require the unpredictability that keeps defenses anxious throughout 90 minutes. Arsenal score from corners because they train obsessively for corners. They do not score consistently from open play because they do not commit equivalent resources to open play finishing. The trade-off has served them well domestically, but semi-finals demand completeness. Tonight confirmed Arsenal remain incomplete. Gyökeres acknowledged after the match that he needs to be in the box more frequently. He noted the criticism regarding his positioning. He suggested improvement would arrive, but structural issues require structural solutions. One goal against Robert Sanchez's gift does not represent progress. It represents fortunate timing. The Swedish striker remains peripheral to Arsenal's most dangerous moments. He remains absent from the movements that create genuine goal-scoring opportunities. His 97 goals at Sporting came in a different system with different demands. Arsenal have not adapted to accommodate his strengths. They have expected him to adapt to their existing structure. The results speak clearly. The second leg will now carry enormous weight. Arsenal return to the Emirates with an advantage but without comfort. Chelsea have discovered something in this match. They have discovered that directness troubles Arsenal. They have discovered that Garnacho deserves trust. They have discovered that Rosenyor's willingness to make bold substitutions can alter contests. These discoveries travel with them to North London. Arsenal have been the best team in England this season by conventional metrics. 6 points clear at the league summit, a defensive record that rivals any in Europe, a set-piece proficiency unmatched across the continent. But conventional metrics do not win semi-finals. Arteta knows this better than anyone. 4 consecutive eliminations have taught him. Tonight's victory, achieved through set pieces and errors rather than open play dominance, teaches the same lesson again. The illusion that set-piece mastery represents tactical completeness died at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal won the match. They won it unconvincingly. They won it while exposing precisely the limitations that have cost them in every significant two-legged tie under their manager. The question now becomes whether they can address these limitations before February 3rd. History suggests they cannot. History suggests the patterns will repeat. History suggests that somewhere in the second leg, Arsenal will need open play quality they simply do not possess in sufficient quantity. Chelsea finished tonight believing they were still alive. Arsenal finished tonight believing they had taken control. One of these beliefs is accurate. The other is dangerous. Possession without penetration is control without consequence. Dominance without diversity is strength without substance. Arsenal have built something remarkable, but remarkable is not yet complete. Consider what this match revealed about both clubs' trajectories. Chelsea under Rosenyor showed something unexpected. Energy, belief, a willingness to fight regardless of circumstance. The new manager has inherited chaos, but he has also inherited talent that responds to directness. Garnacho proved that marginalized players can become match winners when given opportunity. The Argentines' performance was not merely good, it was statement-making. It challenged every assumption about Chelsea's attacking limitations. Arsenal's trajectory points toward continued excellence in league football. Their system guarantees points accumulation over 38 matches. But knockout football operates differently. Knockout football rewards adaptability. It rewards the ability to shift patterns mid-match. It rewards players who can produce magic independent of structure. Arsenal have built their success on the opposite principles. Consistency over inspiration. Pattern over instinct. Process over moment. The Emirates awaits. February 3rd will arrive carrying the weight of all these questions. Can Arsenal finally complete a semi-final triumph under Arteta? Can Gyökeres rediscover the instincts that made him irresistible in Portugal? Can the defense maintain concentration when Chelsea inevitably push for the goals they need? Can the system accommodate the moments that decide ties? Chelsea will travel with conviction that did not exist before tonight. They conceded 3 goals, but they also scored twice against the best defense in England. They lost the match, but they won something intangible. Belief, understanding, the knowledge that Arsenal can be rattled, the knowledge that directness creates doubt, the knowledge that Garnacho represents a weapon Rosenyor must continue deploying. Final verdict. Arsenal proved tonight that they can win matches without playing well. What they have not yet proven is whether they can win the matches that actually matter.